Legendary director Gurudutt presents Pyaasa. Namaste, I'm Grishma and I welcome you to the IndiCineGlitz channel. The movie begins with Vijay, who's hit by unemployment and struggling to get a job. He's also a poet who desires to gain recognition and appreciation for his poetry by publishing a collection of his poems. He is making rounds in every publication house in the city to get his poems published. But every time he's been told that instead of writing poems on boring topics like inflation, poverty, hunger, and unemployment, if he writes poems on conventional topics like love, beauty, and heartbreak, maybe his poems would get published. Hence, drafts of his poems are always found in the dustbins of publishing houses. But Vijay is not deterred by this rejection and keeps on trying. Both his elder brothers are angry that Vijay keeps wandering on the streets with his trashy poems and wasting his life instead of focusing on finding a job. This led to frequent quarrels between them. Hence, Vijay left home long back and now rarely visits his family. One day, he comes across a courtesan named Gulabo on the street who tries to woo him with a song. Vijay was surprised to hear the song because it was his lyrics that she was humming. He asks her how she got the song. She then tells him that she bought the papers from a scrap dealer, which Vijay's brother sold to the dealer in exchange for money, and she bought them as she was impressed by Vijay's poignancy and scathing writing style on social issues and has kept them safe with her ever since. Beset by rejection and disappointment, Vijay is moved to see that at least there is someone who understands and appreciates his talent and leaves without a word. One day, when he goes to his college's alumni gathering, he meets a man named Mr. Ghosh, who owns a company, Modern Publishing House, and wants to hire Vijay. When Vijay goes for the interview the next day, he finds Ghosh more interested in his college and personal life than his qualification for the job. He appoints Vijay to the position of assistant and asks him to submit his poems for review. But his attitude towards Vijay is malicious. While others are impressed by Vijay's poems and wants his poems to be published, Ghosh dismisses them as nonsense. He treats Vijay like a slave and one day orders him to serve drinks at a function held in his house. At the function, Vijay learns that Ghosh is the husband of his ex-girlfriend Meena. She and Vijay had been together since college and were in love, but later Meena rejects the poor and unemployed Vijay and marries a rich and well-settled man, Mr. Ghosh. She has hidden her past from her husband, but the arrogant Ghosh knows about Vijay and is jealous that Meena has not been able to forget Vijay and hence wants to soothe his ego by proving Vijay to be inferior to him in front of his wife. Meena is shocked to see Vijay at her house and requests him not to reveal their relationship to her husband. On the other hand, Vijay sees the most renowned and famous poets of the city are attending the function. He then takes this opportunity and presents one of his poems in which he expresses his heartbreak and disappointment in love, for which he receives praise. This enrages Ghosh, who had the specific intention of humiliating Vijay in front of everyone. Meena is disturbed after hearing Vijay's poem. She secretly goes to visit him after a few days. Vijay objects and says that she should not betray her husband like she betrayed him. Meena then justifies her decision to leave Vijay and marry Ghosh, saying that no matter how true one's love is, it can't satisfy hunger, and there is a huge difference between poetry and reality. She never believed in Vijay and his abilities and therefore married a man who could fulfill her needs and dreams. Vijay replies that if she had faith in him and supported him, he would have turned the world upside down for her. But today, when all her needs are being fulfilled, then why did she come to see him? Vijay advises her that since she has given priority to money over love, she should stick to it and remain loyal to her husband. But just then, Ghosh spots them. He quarrels with Meena and immediately fires Vijay from his job. Vijay is now back on the streets. One day, he runs to his brothers who inform him that their mother is no more, and with her death, their relationship with him has also come to an end. They want nothing to do with him and ask him to never show his face again. Suddenly, Vijay gets more depressed and becomes an alcoholic. One day, in an intoxicated state, Gulabo picks him up from the street and brings him to her home. She loves Vijay because of his poetry and his unconditional respect for her. She confesses her love to him and encourages him to forget everything and give it a fresh start. But Vijay doesn't consider himself worthy of Gulabo's love. He decides to commit suicide and writes a suicide note in which he mentions that he is fed up with life and is committing suicide and heads towards the railway station. On the way, he sees a beggar shrinking from the cold. He hands him his jacket to him and moves forward. Suspicious of his motives, the beggar chases Vijay to stop him, but then gets his foot trapped in a track and calls out for help. Vijay rushes to save him, but the scene fades out with a speeding train approaching them. The next day, news get published that a struggling poet named Vijay has committed suicide by being run over by a train. He could not be identified from his mutilated body, but from the suicide note found in his jacket. Both Meena and Gulabo are saddened by Vijay's death. Gulabo then decides to fulfill Vijay's wish to get his poems published. She offers all her savings and requests Mr. Ghosh, the owner of the city's biggest publishing house, to get those poems published. Ghosh then decides to publish Vijay's poems, which become instant bestsellers. All its editions also sell out quickly. Vijay has now become a legend, and people are respecting and appreciating his talent and lamenting that such a talented poet left the world so soon. Ghosh, who has all the rights and ownership of Vijay's poems, is gaining both fame and money from it. Gulabo is happy just to see Vijay getting appreciation and deserved respect. But Vijay's friends, who used to make fun of him, and his brothers, who wanted nothing to do with him, now want to take advantage of his death and his fame. They demand their share from Ghosh in the earnings of Vijay's book. Meanwhile, we learn that Vijay has survived the accident and the dead body was that of the beggar from whose pocket the police found the suicide note. Vijay was admitted to the hospital and is undergoing treatment. One day he learns that the book of his poems has been published. He tries to tell the doctor that he is the author of the book, but the doctor informs him that the poet Vijay has committed suicide. Nobody believes Vijay and thinks he is crazy and making up stories. Ghosh is upset when he learns that Vijay is alive. He doesn't want to lose the benefits he is enjoying in personal and financial aspects from Vijay's death. He conspires with Vijay's acquaintances and his brothers to deny Vijay's existence and prove that he is dead. He agrees to pay each of them a large sum of money. When they are called to the hospital to identify Vijay, they prove that Vijay is indeed dead and he is mentally disabled. Vijay then immediately sent to a mental asylum, where after a few days he manages to escape. He returns to his brothers for help, but they refuse to even recognize him. Confused Vijay wanders the streets and finds that he is loved by the people and the media. One day he goes to a town hall in the city where a program is being organized to pay tribute to poet Vijay on his death anniversary. He sees Ghosh shedding crocodile tears over his death and expressing grief over the sudden demise of such a talented poet, and his brothers and friends mourning him. Seeing his death turn into a dirty farce, Vijay recites one of his poems about the sick mentality of society, which salutes money and mocks poverty. Ghosh panics seeing Vijay there and chases him away with the goons. But the word spreads in the city that Vijay is alive, and the publishing houses that used to throw Vijay's poems in the garbage are in a race to prove Vijay's existence so that they can capitalize on his popularity and own his book's rights. One of Ghosh's rivals pays double the amount to Vijay's brothers and acquaintances to identify him as Vijay and prove that he is the author of the book. They all take Vijay to a press conference where Vijay's identity has to be proved. A disgusted Vijay, fed up with his greedy friends and family and hypocritical society, refuses to identify himself as Vijay and says that he isn't the one whom they admire and love. Hearing this, the crowd becomes furious and starts vandalism. Vijay somehow escapes from there. Meena finds him and tries to convince him that his desire and dream have finally come true. So what is the point of rejecting it? His bad days are finally over and this new life has a lot to offer him, so he should embrace it. Vijay answers that he finds such fame, wealth and life meaningless where greed, power and money overpower emotions, relationships and humanity. Meena then counters him by asking, whether it's wise to deny his entire existence because of some greedy and selfish people. He can still have his desired life by rejecting such negative people and making the best of the situation for himself. Vijay replies that he will never find peace and solace in this environment where stones and the dead are worshipped, but living humans and their emotions are brutally crushed. Where it is a sin to be self-respecting poor, but the dishonest rich are honored. He leaves and goes to Gulabo, who is patiently waiting for him. He takes her with him to go somewhere far away from this chaos, to start a new life with her. And with this, the movie ends.
So this was our favorite movie of the day.
Don't miss to experience this Bollywood classic by the brilliant Guru Dutt, which addresses social issues that are relevant even today.
Do tell us your opinion in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel. Take care.